Hi, welcome to today's reading. So, today's reading is brought to you by the gnomes. So, I sat down to prepare for this reading, and I was immediately greeted by a gnome. And he has this beautiful, just kind of like a sweet but grumpy kind of energy. And he immediately began to tell me what he wanted me to set up on my desk for this reading and which card decks to use for this reading. So I have some crystals here that are very connected to earth energy. I have tree agate, I have this flower agate crystal, tiger's eye in the shape of a mushroom. I have this little pewter gnome that was on my altar, and the smoky quartz. And I was instructed to bring in these egg shapes here, and I completely forgot that today is the first day of spring. If you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the spring equinox, March 20th, when I'm recording this. In the fall, or excuse me, in the southern hemisphere, of course, this is your fall equinox. But I was instructed to bring this out and really clear the energy with incense and sound. And just to remind you that we are stepping into a brand new energy with this brand new season. And I pulled 3 cards to pull the energy and to sit with this energy for a few minutes. And the first one out is the Frog and Lotus with Metamorphosis. And this is a beautiful, I think, springtime kind of energy of just, the frog transforming from the tadpole, and of course the lotus coming out of the mud and being a symbol of transformation. So this is telling me that you are going through an enormous time of transformation. We also have toadstools and growth here. So I thought that was really interesting. We have the frog and the toad and metamorphosis and growth. So you're going through this enormous period of growth. And interestingly, we also have this card here that says Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. And I feel like that is coming. But currently, you're being surrounded by this energy of transformation and growth. And it's happening on a really deep level. I'm seeing like the lotus in the mud, deep under water, and this toadstools, fungi grow like these enormous networks underground. So the growth first happens in the unseen, just like with this lotus. The growth happens in the dark, and before you see any of the growth in the physical, it's all happening underneath the surface. And it takes a really long time. And I'm also being drawn to the idea of like ancient energy. And that's why the gnome came through. The gnome is a very ancient earth energy. And so are fungi. Fungi are one of the first, plant species that developed on the earth. So they're very deeply connected, like the gnomes and the fungi kingdom. They're very ancient earth energies, and you're really going through this like deeply transformative time, and it's connected to like really ancient energies that are supporting you. And like this isn't a phase that you're currently in that is just like surface level like change. This is really deep transformative change that is really tapping all the way back into like your ancient roots, your ancestral roots. And what I'm getting is that you're transforming your entire ancestral line, and that's why this period can't really be rushed. Like I feel like you're eager to get into a place where you're exchanging your energy with others. You're not just in this growth phase. I'm kind of tapping into maybe a little bit of frustration at being in this period of transformation, and you feel like you're ready to kind of get out there, especially with this spring energy that we're now stepping into. Like the energies are lightening up, and things are going to start speeding up. Like collectively, we're moving out of a phase of energy that's felt really kind of stagnant. And this is all like being supported astrologically and just where we are in our ascension process is, this time of like March 2026 is really when we're stepping into the new energy that's been building and being prepared to really be felt by us. And that is really what's just now starting to open up. And we're going to start feeling this in the next few weeks. But Spirit is saying, be patient, because this growth, it just takes time. And it can feel kind of like a heavy burden. Like, I'm really drawn to how she's got like this growth, like, covering, parts of her body. And like this side, she's already like free from the hard parts of the growth, and she's got this new fresh energy. I'm seeing like these symbols on her arm as being, and same with the symbols here. Like, I'm really drawn to these different sort of like geometric shapes and things. It's kind of feeling like codes. Like, sounds kind of strange, but I'm just getting this visual about this transformative process that you've been going through has been changing you from the inside out. And you have these new like codes and ways of being, sorry, I bumped the camera, that are going to be apparent to you. They're going to be coming to the surface, like you're resurfacing, like this frog coming out of this tadpole phase and coming out from under the water. I think, tadpoles are only in the water, but the frog is both a land animal and a water animal. So it can emerge from the water and come out onto land and start to exchange energy with the ecosystem. And that is going to be happening soon. But right now you're still in this growth phase. I want to pull a little bit more on this trader because I want to see what this exchange energy is about. So I'm also getting something about cycles. And, we go through these cycles where we're more active and we're out and we're networking. This is making me think of, trading with others and having like a network. We talked about the network with the toadstools. You're kind of eager to get out there and network with others, but this gnome energy is coming through to say, be patient. And he's reminding me that, humans, we get impatient because we're like very aware that we have like a limited time on the earth. And gnomes are extremely patient because just from what I've read about them, they are they're beings that have very long lives. Like, they can live for thousands of years. So time to them doesn't affect them. They don't feel pressed for time where humans do. We are very cognizant that our lives are relatively short in the big scheme of things. And we want to get out there and exchange our energy. But he's saying if you step out too soon, before you've really completed this phase, like, she still needs to go through this growth phase, and whatever needs to be learned, she's going to be more successful, like exchanging her energy, once she's gone through this growth phase and learned whatever it is she needs to learn in this phase before she steps out with this like new skin. Yeah, that's really interesting. This new skin, and the frog, like the skin changes from the tadpole to the frog. I'm also being brought back, and I'm not sure what the connection is yet, but maybe that will come out. I don't know if you're familiar with the storybook Frog and Toad. It was a popular storybook in I guess it was probably the late 70s and early 80s. I was born in 72, and it was one of my favorite books as a kid, the Frog and Toad stories. And Frog and Toad were very, very different personalities. And there's something there with that's coming through. So, there's no coincidences. And Spirit is bringing that to my attention for some reason. I think the one character in the book, and I think it was Toad, is very impatient. I have to remember, it's been a long time since I read them, and I used to read them to my kids too. But that was still, 20 years ago. And Frog was more patient. Just remembering just the basics about them, like there's something about like tapping into the frog who isn't pushing things and who isn't trying to hurry this metamorphosis process is really what's coming through. So I want to grab the Angels and Ancestors card or deck that I used for this Trader card, and let's get a little bit more about this exchanging energy. Spirit, what do you want to say about this cycle? Okay, wow, Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. So that's tapping in really nicely with the frog energy here. Yeah, there's like this deep excavation of your emotions that I feel like is part of this process. Yeah, you're really growing in like in an emotional way, like your emotional maturity is coming through. And she's got these, I know they're water droplets, but they look like pearls to me on her forehead and her body. And maybe they are meant to be pearls. And pearls are formed under pressure, and it's difficult, and it's a rough process to get to that point. Growth is never easy, and there's something here about just patience and letting yourself go through this process. Let yourself grow. Sometimes we have more success when we just kind of willingly accept those periods where we have some growing to do and some things to heal. And then when we come out and we emerge from, the pond, and we're ready to step out into a more like healed version of ourselves, things just flow easier. And okay, so we're getting this like water energy here. So, the earth energy is very dense, right? With the mud and the toadstools growing in the dark earth. I'm seeing like a dark forest, and it's difficult and it's scary, and there's a lot of uncertainties. But then the water comes and the water flows. And then this, pearls emerge. There's like this process that you have to be willing to go through in order to see the success and in the energy exchange when you try to exchange the energy. So this is something really different. Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. Yeah, your soul is really guiding you here. And I'm seeing these codes again, like right above this pyramid, there's more codes. So it's like you're tapping into like really ancient codes I'm hearing. And this is part of your learning process and what you're supposed to be unearthing. And you're being guided by, even though this is a very earthy kind of energy, there's also this cosmic energy that you can tap into with your star ancestors. Again, we're talking about like ancient wisdom, and it goes back to like in ancient times when they were really connected to the stars and other beings, and they worked together. There wasn't like a separation between like cosmic beings and earth beings. Like I'm seeing like the gnomes who've been on the planet for, 1 billion years. They were very connected to their star ancestors, and that helped them connect with the voice of their soul, that part of them that was really spiritual, because they're so grounded. The gnome energy and just earth energy is so grounded. And we need to remember the voice of our soul. And, your soul wants to have this human experience where you evolve and you change. They don't want to come here. Like your soul didn't want to incarnate here on earth and just stay stagnant, just stay the same. It wanted to grow. It wanted to have those difficult experiences that change you at a very deep level. So your soul is guiding you, and just kind of trust in that and listen to your intuition. And you're going to know when it's time to really emerge from the mud and be ready to exchange your energy with the world. Okay, I'm going to get one more from this deck, and then I might pull some tarot also. Let's see. Okay, Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. Yeah, this is just really this time period where it's okay just to kind of stop and see what it is you're being asked to heal. And both of these feel like almost like the same person. So I just kind of want to look at these two together. The Water Guardian and the Mirror Guardian. Yeah, it's like looking really deep within yourself. Spirit wants you to also see how much you've changed through this growth process. Like you've already changed and grown so much, and they want you to take time to just kind of reflect on that, and that's going to help you get through this last like little phase. I feel like you're very close to being able to step out and, you know, exchange your energy with the world, but right now there's just a little bit more that you have to go. I'm also really drawn, I don't know why yet, also with the hair, like the really long hair here. I don't know, there's something about a really long, like, lineage is what I'm getting with that. Like a really long lineage of ancestors that you're connecting with that are just part of this growth process. They're guiding you, but there's something else there with that. What is that, Spirit? This connection with this ancient... Yeah, you're just connecting like to really like far back ancient ancestral energy. And if you connect with your emotions, you're going to kind of see what it is you're working on healing right now in your lineage. Okay, so see, we've got the Knight of Swords here. So this is feeling like this energy here that you want to like get out and maybe kind of rush this healing process a little bit. And Spirit is saying it's going to be go time soon. Really just tap into your intuition, your soul, your higher self. Connect with your emotions. Really reflect on what it is they're trying to tell you right now, because there's like, I'm getting this one little thing that you're really being asked to look at right now. And it's kind of this last little piece before you emerge from the mud. And this is really tied in with your ancient roots, I'm hearing. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Ten of Pentacles. This is that ancestral connection. This goes back generations and generations. That's one meaning here. The other thing is, and even the colors on these two decks like really go together. That always tells me that a message is connected. Like if you can just see like the yellows and the reds here, we've got all these like geometric symbols. There's a lot of abundance available to you, and this is going to be that next phase that you come out of. And whatever this is that you want to create, like you may literally be a product creator of some kind, like you have some kind of physical item that you want to bring out into the world, and it's going to be like really successful and really take off. And Spirit is saying it's going to go faster and smoother when you really kind of spend this little bit of extra time reflecting on what your emotions are trying to tell you right now. Okay. cards are flipping out. Too many at one time here. Let me get one more card. Just to get a little bit more information on this Trader card here. Sorry if you heard background noise. My house is like full of people right now. Oh, the Empress. That's really beautiful. And this is this creation energy, this earth energy. Like you're here to create something really magnificent. And, you know, the Empress is associated with creativity. So, yeah, I feel like I'm tapping into someone who is creating something in the physical, something really tangible, something really beautiful, something I'm feeling like Taurus energy right now. So, you know, just like those beautiful, like luxurious kinds of items. And it's something that really comes from your heart. You know, I'm really drawn to like his like scarf or whatever, this, you know, robe he's wearing and this pillow, like something that's handmade, maybe even, you know, something that's just made with your heart and your hands both, that is going to be really successful and really abundant. And there's like the growth here with that too, is the growth of your abundance. You know, it says abundance right on this card. Exchange energy to create abundance, you know, and you need to get out there. This feels like a green light, and this green light is coming, Spirit is saying, but there's just a little bit more in your emotions that you need to take time to reflect on. I mean, these even look like the same person, right? They both have these wings, and they're both guardians. Follow the voice of your soul and connect with your emotions. Yeah, your soul, like going back, just how it's connected with your ancestral line. There's something there, like, I don't know, I feel like your ancestors are really supporting you, and you putting yourself out there and sharing your work with the world, I feel like it's going to somehow heal something in your lineage. Like maybe this is something that your ancestors tried to do, but they weren't successful. But you're doing this hard work of like metamorphosis and growth. And they're so proud of you. I'm really feeling this, like this pride, and I can feel like all these ancestors like watching me doing this reading and wanting to say like how proud they are of you, like how far you've come, how much growth you've experienced, right? Like reflecting on that and seeing them when you look in the mirror also, and seeing how they are guiding you, and just so proud of you. There's just something here in your emotions, in your emotional body, that you need to get in touch with. I feel like it's different for everybody. I'm not getting like a really solid read on what that emotion is. And it's not necessarily that it's a block. Let's get a couple of tarot cards really quickly here on the connect with your emotions. Spirit, tell me a little bit more about why the emotions are the key here. And I've got the Two of Cups coming out, so that's interesting. So Two of Cups can be about relationships, love, can also be connecting. So it could be a relationship, but also just getting to know your own emotions. Let me see what else comes out with that. Because this is connecting with your emotions. And the Two of Cups, we have two hands here, and that's kind of indicating a second person, but it can be like you connecting with your higher self, like really understanding your own emotions and how they drive you, how they stop you, I'm hearing. And maybe you're growing out of a phase where you're being like really led around by your emotions, I'm hearing. Because they're somehow impacting your energy and this thing that you want to bring out into the world. Yeah, the Seven of Pentacles. This is like the growth, the patience, you're waiting. Look at this, it's like under the mud. You know, we talked about the filaments, the mycelium of the fungi kingdom being under the mud, the lotus flower, the tadpoles, coming up out of the mud. And so really digging deep, taking the time, the patience to understand your emotions here is going to help you in some way with this creative endeavor that you want to bring out into the world. I feel like it's something about how your emotions get stirred up when you're asked to wait and when you're asked to go through these phases. It's like I'm getting this energy of impatience, like you don't want to do any more work on yourself, like you feel like you've already done enough and you're just ready to get out there. And Spirit is saying there's a reason why you're still in this little bit of transformation phase. And try to, I feel like the Hermit card might come out, or Temperance. Like there's something about just kind of settling your emotions and calming your emotions. I'm feeling like a really calming energy is going to be really helpful for you to be like really centered, because you're going to be like really taking off and being very successful. I mean, the Ten of Pentacles is wealth, and it's long-term wealth and success. So there's like no rush on this because it's something that's so long-term. Again, we got like all this long hair and the ancient, toadstools and the gnomes that are these ancient energies. And yeah, like there's no rush on this at all. Okay, I'm going to get one last card here. Eight of Swords. Yeah, that's like the overthinking kind of energy, or feeling like stuck. And Spirit is saying this isn't something that you need to figure out with your mind. It's something that, it's nothing in your mind. It's not your thoughts. It's not like the plans aren't right or anything like that. They're saying get out of your head and really drop into your emotions and just kind of see what is reflected to you there in your emotions. And that's kind of the key, the answer that's going to kind of unlock this energy. And you're going to know when you have the green light to go and you're ready to kind of step out and exchange your energy and share your creations with the world. And that timing is going to help you be even more successful with that. So that is the message that I have for you today from the gnomes. Thank you, gnome, for being with us for this message. And happy spring equinox or autumn equinox. And I'll see you really soon. Bye.